Now I'm ready to reassemble the movement. So the time-only clocks are so simple. This right here is the sweep hand or second hand shaft. The second hand is going to go on this when the clock is put back together again. This is the minute hand sleeve. The minute hand is going to go on that when the clock is reassembled. And this is the hour hand sleeve. The hour hand is going to go on that when it's assembled. So what I usually do is I start with the second hand shaft or sweep hand shaft and put this in. So there's a little nub on this side, okay, and that's got to go into this little hole right here. Now, some people will say never put any external lubrication on a G Telechron, and others will say when it's a component passing through one of the plates, it's okay to put a drop. So I actually am going to put a drop of oil right there. And this is tricky because you've got to kind of hit it at an angle. This gear is going to go underneath this gear, so you've got to kind of put it under there and slide it to the right until it seats in there. Not that complicated, but that's it. And you notice that these gears are splined right here. The next step is to take my minute hand sleeve and put that onto the second hand shaft. And there you'll notice that these gears right here are now splined. The next thing is the setting gear assembly, which is this right here. And I'm going to put that right here on this post with the gear side up. So, because this side does not have a gear, this side does. In this type of clock, we're going to have that gear side up like that. And then these gears will spline right here. And then finally, we take the hour hand sleeve and put it on top of the whole thing, and that's our movement. Notice that these gears spline right here. Now we have to add our gear set shaft. So here's that. I took a file and got some of the rough edges off, so now this will slide on there easily. So we're going to take this and we're just going to put it right through this hole right here. And I typically do is I have two scraps of 2x4 that I use, and I put the back plate on there, or the base plate, and build it on top there. That way when I put this in here, it doesn't become awkward. The only thing left on this style of clock is the power indicator. Now, on sort of earlier G Telechron, the ones from the 30s, they had a feature where when you pulled the time set knob out, it would activate a lever, and that lever would come up and knock this flat part right here, okay? And that was how it reset from red to the color of the clock face. But as time went on, they deleted that, and they stopped including that, and instead of that, what you had to do is you had to pick up the clock and tilt it so the back of it was horizontal to the floor, and that would cause this to move itself, and it would get caught in the magnetic coil, and then it would stay the color of the clock face. Okay, so this one I don't have to line it up with any lever. Okay, all I have to do is just put it down in here. And what I would like to do is put a dot of oil, because I don't like it when these things get hung up, and hopefully that will prevent it from being hung up. And I just put it down like that. Now the next part is to take the front plate, and we're just going to put the front plate on top of this, and we're trying to get these three holes right there on those three posts, and a screw is going to go through those, and that's not hard. This right here needs to come through the center. The problem is when you do this, inevitably this power indicator, this little nub on the power indicator sticking forward, does not go through the hole on the front plate. So it's usually a two-step process for me, where I put the front plate on, and then I've got to jostle this around, take a toothpick or something, and reach in there and move it around until I get that post to slip in that hole. So we'll see what happens if I put it on now. And there you see, like right there, I've got the right connection, because that post is where it's supposed to be in relation to the front plate. So I'm just going to start a screw in there. I'm not going to tighten it down. And then I'm going to take this right there, we should see the post from the power indicator. It's not there. So I'm going to turn this, and I can see where it is, and I'm just going to move it around until that post seats into that hole. Is it a pain? I think you have to say it truly is. But you heard that little click. That meant that it came through. What I want to do is hold this in place. While I've got it in place, I want to get this screw in here so it doesn't shift. And I have to start over from the beginning. So I'm going to put a screw in there and then tighten it down, not over tighten it, just get it nice in there tight so that the front plate doesn't shift on me. And I can do this one too. And then take the third screw. If it's all lined up, that post should be coming through. Okay, so I had to sort of jostle the setting gear shaft. It was crooked in there, but after I jostled it, this post pops up right there on the front plate. That means that I'm good to go to add my third screw. So this is the movement right here all put back together. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back now and just tighten the screws down. I don't need to over tighten them, but just to get them nice and tight so they're not loose. Okay, and my next step is going to be to reattach the coil and the rotor on the back.